today we will be discussing our topic titled Do Not Just Dream It, Make It Happen. Here are the 3 important ideas that help us understand ourselves better and improve our goal in life. The lesson objectives. First is use Bandura's self-efficacy theory for self-assessment, where we will learn about Bandura's self-efficacy theory, which teaches us how our beliefs in ourselves can affect what we can achieve. Second is differentiate growth and fixed mindset by Dweck, where we will understand the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset, which came from Carol Dweck. This helps us know how our thinking affects our learning. And lastly, design personal goals adapting Locke's goal-setting theory, where we will learn how to design personal goals using Locke's goal-setting theory, which shows us how to set effective and realistic goals. In this lesson, we will start with a simple reminder from Jack Canfield. He is known as a successful author and speaker. He always emphasized the importance of appreciating ourselves and recognizing our own progress. So, according to him, when we give ourselves credit even for small achievements, it becomes easier to aim for bigger goals. This is because self-acknowledgement builds confidence and motivation. In his message is that success begins inside us. Once we appreciate our efforts, we become more willing to grow and continue improving. Next, let's talk about Albert Bandura's self-efficacy theory. Bandura introduced self-efficacy in 1977. Self-efficacy means how strong you believe in your ability to do something. If you believe you can succeed, you are more likely to try harder and not give up easily. Bandura also explained that family, life, education greatly influence our confidence. The support we get from people and the experience we go through helps shape our beliefs in ourselves. Another important idea from Bandura is that people are not just shaped by their environment. Instead, we also shape our environment. We learn through observing others, talking to people, interacting with the world around us. This means our actions and beliefs can change depending on what we see and how we respond to situations. So, in simple words, self-efficacy, believing in your ability to succeed.
Today, I'm going to talk about the Bobo-Dul experiment. So, in the 1950s, Bandura conducted the Bobo-Dul experiment, providing that social mothering is effectively way of learning, while the children who observe violent behavior exhibit violent behavior towards the doll, while those in non-violent group rarely did. So, meaning daw po is yung Bobo-Dul experiment is gawa siya ni Albert Bandura. Basically, known siya as a study na nagpapakita ng powerful pagdating sa mga observing ng ibang tao. So, way back of 1950s po, si Bandura is gusto niyang maintindihan ng mga bata ang certain behavior sa pamamagitan ng pagtingin o pag-observe nila sa mga ibang tao, like the violence behavior na ginagawa nila. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My topic today is all about summary of self-efficacy theory. Self-efficacy is an individual belief in their ability to successfully complete a specific task. Distinguish between outcome expectancy and efficacy expectancy. Meron tayo dito sa outcome and the efficacy. Meron tayo dito meaning ng outcome and efficacy. First, ang efficacy expectancy. Ang meaning kasi ng efficacy expectancy is what you believe you can do. It's your confidence in your own ability to perform specific tasks successfully. For example, I believe I can study hard enough to understand all the exam topics. Yun yung example ng efficacy and expectancy. And dito naman sa outcome, it is what you believe in will happen as a result of that performance. It's your expectation of the consequence of your of your action. For example, if I study hard and understand the topics, I will pass the exam. Parang expect mo na makukuha mo yung high score kung mag-study hard ka and understand the topics. Yun yung outcome ng expectancy. The next is individual with a high self-efficacy, view difficult tasks as challenge, set challenging goals, and precise thought failures. Dito naman sa self-efficacy, sa high self-efficacy, pinapakita dito na kaya mong gawin hindi lamang sa salita, kundi sa gawa. For example, ang isang mag-aaral na may mataas na pagkakilala sa sarili niya ay naniniwala na kaya niyang maunawaan ang aralin. Nagsisikap na mag-aral at tinitingnan ang pagsusulit bilang pagkakataong pakita ang kanyang kaalaman. Yun yung high self-efficacy. With the low self-efficacy, avoid tasks, lack ambition, and are easily discouraged. Dito kasi sa low self-efficacy, parang kabaliktaran siya ng high efficacy. Example, ang isang mag-aaral na may mababang pagkakakilanlan sa kanyang sarili ay nagdududa sa kanyang kakayahang maunawaan ang mga konsepto or mga topic sa paaralan. Iniiwasan niya mag-aral at nakakaramdam ng pagkabilisa sa pagsusulit. Kaya yun yung kabaliktaran ng low and high self-efficacy. Next topic is all about 4 main source of influence. The first one is mastery experience. Ang mastery experience building a strong sense of the self-efficacy through personal success. For example, dito sa mastery experience is pagtuturo sa iba. Sa pagtuturo sa ibang tao. Ganyan, mastery of experience yan. For example, ang matagumpay na pagtuturo sa iba ng isang kasanayan o konsepto na nagpapakita na ang iyong sarili ay pagkaunawaan at kakayahan. Yun yung parang mastery of experience. 2. Vicarious experience. Observing people similar to oneself succeed can enhance self-efficacy. For example dito sa number 2 sa vicarious experience, example, panonood ng isang kaibigan na nagtagumpay sa isang audition, ay yan yung vicarious experience. For example, kung nakita mo ang iyong kaibigan na matagumpay na nakapasa sa isang audition para sa isang trito o banda, maaring tumaas ang iyong kumpiyansa na kaya mo rin itong gawin. Ganun yung vicarious experience. Number 3, verbal or social persuasion. Enhancing confidence through encouragement and persuasion from others. Dito kasi sa number 3, nagbibigay ka ng encourage sa ibang tao para ipagpatuloy yun. Parang nagbibigay ka ng encourage sa ibang tao. For example, bigyan ko ng example sa verbal and social persuasion. For example, paghihikayat ng isang guro. Yun, verbal yun. Sinasabi ng guro sa isang estudyante or sa atin, sinasabi niya, alam kong kaya mo yan, pagtiyagaan mo lang at malulutas mo ang problema ito. Parang ibibigay siya ng encouragement sa isang tao para ipagpatuloy yung ginagawa niya. Physiological and somatic and emotional states. People rely on their somatic and emotional state to judge their capabilities. We have example for this physiological and somatic and emotional states. The example is, nervous ka bago ang isang presentasyon. Kung naramdaman mo ang bilis ng tibok ng puso mo pagpapawis at pananakit ng tiyan bago ka magpresenta. Maaari mong isipin na hindi mo kaya or hindi ka pa handa. Yun yung physiological and somatic emotional state. Baka hindi nyo natatanong kung ano ba ang meaning ng somatic. Ito yung mga parang example, ito yung parang mga somatic pain, yan, ninervous tayo. Konektado to siya sa ating body parts. Kaya paminsan pag ninervous tayo, nanginginig tayo or pawis na pawis. Kaya tinatawag siyang somatic.
Next is the two important quotes by Albert Bandura about self-efficacy, which is our belief in our ability to handle different situations. The first quote says, "Self-efficacy is the belief in one's capability to organize and execute the source of actions required to manage prospective situations," which means that self-efficacy is about trusting ourselves to plan and carry out what is needed to face future challenges. For example, a student who believes they can study hard and pass an exam is showing self-efficacy. The second quote states, "By sticking it out through tough times, people emerge from adversity with a stronger sense of efficacy." This means that when people face difficulties and keep going, they become more confident in their abilities. For instance, an athlete who trains consistently despite injuries builds stronger self-efficacy because they overcome obstacles.
To discuss about Carol S. Dweck fixed and growth mindset theory. So Carol Dweck is a leading researcher in the field of motivation. Her research focuses on why people success and how to foster success. So fixed mindset versus growth mindset. So first is fixed mindset. So fixed mindset is a belief or innate and unchangeable. So ang fixed mindset daw is paniniwala na ang talino at kakayahan mo ay hindi na magbabago. For example is, hindi ako magaling sumagot ng math. Dahil hindi ako marunong sumagot sa math. So ang iisipin ko is, hindi ko to kaya, nahihirapan ako dito, kahit nag-aral na ako, hindi ko pa rin masagot to. So second is growth mindset. So growth mindset is a belief that abilities can be developed through hard work, learning, and persistence. So ang growth mindset daw is naniniwalang kaya mong ma-improve ang kakayahan mo kapag nag-aral ka ng mabuti. So kung matalino ka na, mas lalo kang tatalino kapag nag-aral ka ng mabuti. Example dito is, for example, hindi ako magaling magsalita sa harapan ng maraming tao dahil nahihiya ako. So, kapag nag-practice ako magsalita sa harapan ng mga tao, pagtatanggalin ko yung hiya ko. So, kung next reporting namin, kung may reporting kami, hindi na ako mahihiya magsalita sa maraming tao, mag-report dahil natuto na ako. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. So, individual with a growth mindset are more likely to continue working hard despite setback, while those with a fixed mindset are affected by environmental costs. And praising effort, you working hard, very hard, promote a growth mindset, while praising intelligent, you are smart, promote a fixed mindset. Naman is kung paano daw na aapektuhan ng mindset ng isang tao sa kanilang pagharap sa mga problema nila. So, yung mga taong may growth mindset is nagsisikap sila ng mabuti kahit nahihirapan na sila. Then, yung mga taong may fixed mindset naman is sila yung mga taong madaling ma-discourage at panghinaan ng loob. And that's all. Thank you.
Edwin Locke is a researcher who became famous for studying goal setting. He wanted to understand how goals affect people's performance and motivation. So what is goal setting? Goal setting theory was developed by Locke in 1960s. The main idea of the theory is very simple. When you set specific and challenging goals, you perform better and become more motivated. For example, kapag sinabi mo na gusto kong mag-aral, masyado siyang general. Pero kapag sinabi mo na mag-aaral ako ng math for 30 minutes tonight para tumaas ang score ko, mas klaro siya and kaya mas malaki ang chance na magagawa mo. Moving on to goal attributes, Locke explained that goals have two sides, which is the internal and external. The internal is the ideas. Ito yung nasa isip mo, yung idea kung anong gusto mong ma-achieve. While the external is the object na gusto mong makuha. Ito naman yung actual result or outcome na gusto mo. For example, in external, gusto mong maging healthier. So, ang gagawin mo is mag-gym ka or mag-lose weight. Get it? So, the two main attributes of goal, first is content. So, ano yung hinahabol mo? Ito yung specific na bagay na gusto mong ma-achieve. For example, goal content mo is gusto kong mataas ang grades ko sa English. While the second is intensity. Kung gaano ka ka-effort or ka-focus. Ito yung level ng effort mo or kung gaano ka kalakas mag-focus o magtrabaho at mag-commit sa goal mo. For example, may dalawang estudyante na gustong pumasa. Yung student 1 is nag-aral ng 10 minutes, while the student 2 is nag-aral ng 1 hour nag-aral ng 1 hour na focus. So, mas mataas ang intensity ni student 2. The question is, why is this theory important? Because it shows us that clear goals help us stay motivated, challenging goals push us to work harder, and good goals improve performance. So, in summary, Edwin Locke studied how goals affect motivation. His theory says specific and challenging goals lead to higher performance. Goals have internal and external aspects. And goals also have content, what you want, and intensity is how much effort you give.
14 research findings. Number 1. The more difficult the goal, the greater the achievement. Because the principle states that more challenging goals lead to greater achievement. This is because difficult goals require more focus, effort, and persistence. Why? When a goal is difficult, it stretches your capabilities and encourages you to develop new skills and strategies. Number 2. The more specific the goal, the more precisely performance is regulated. Because this principle emphasizes that clearly defined goals result in more precise performance. Instead of vague targets, specific goals provide a clear direction and measurable outcomes. Why? Specific goals reduce ambiguity and allow you to track your progress effectively. Number 3. Goals that are both specific and difficult lead to the highest performance. Because combining specificity and difficulty leads to the highest performance. This type of goals motivate individuals to perform at their best. Why? The specificity provides clarity while the difficulty pushes individuals beyond their comfort zone. Number 4. Commitment to goals is most critical when goals are specific and difficulty. Because this principle highlights that commitment is most critical when goals are specific and difficult. Why? Commitment ensures that you remain dedicated and persistent even when facing obstacles. It drives you to overcome challenges and stay focused on achieving your goals despite difficulties. Number 5. High commitment is attained when the individual is convinced that the goals important and attainable. Because high commitment to a goal is achieved when individuals are convinced that the goal is both important and attainable. Why? When you believe in the value of a goal and have confidence in your ability to achieve it, you are more likely to invest the necessary time and effort. Number 6. Feedback is essential for tracking progress toward goals. Because how individuals respond to negative feedback or failure significantly influence their performance. A constructive response involves learning from mistakes and adjusting strategies. Why? Embracing negative feedback as a learning opportunity fosters resilience and continuous improvement. Number 7. Goal setting is most effective when there is feedback that shows progress in relation to the goal. Because goal setting is most effective when progress is tracked and feedback is provided. This allows individuals to see how their efforts are contributing to goal attainment. Why? Feedback provides a clear indication of whether you are on track, allowing for timely adjustments and sustained motivation.
Number 8. Goal setting. Goal setting, combined with your belief in your ability to achieve them, influence how you fast, successful or failures, affect your future performance. Example, if a student does poorly on a test, might doubt their abilities. If they maintain their belief in themselves, they will set higher goals for the next test. They study harder and likely improve. If they lose confidence, they might lower their goals and effort, leading to less effective preparation. Number 9. Goals affect performance by affecting the direction of action, the degree effort exerted, and persistence of action over time. Explanation. Example. A writer with a goal to write a novel will allocate more time and energy to writing and continue working on it over months or years. If they focus on quality, they will spend more time editing and revising. Number 10. Goals stimulate planning in general. Explanation. Goals drives us to create plans, strategies to achieve them. Newly learned plans or strategies are most likely to be utilized under the stimulus of a specific difficult goal. Example, a person sets a goal to learn a new language. They plan by enrolling in a course, setting aside time for daily practice, and find language partners. When faced the challenging task of understanding complex grammar, they are more likely to use the strategies they learn in the course. Number 11. When people strive for goals on complex tasks, they are least effective in discovering suitable task strategy. When tackling complex tasks, people struggle to find effective strategies if they lack experience, face higher pressure, and have limited time. Example, an engineer with no experience is tasked with designing a new bridge under a tight deadline. And with high stake, they may struggle to find effective solution due to overwhelming pressure, and lack of knowledge. Number 12. Goals including goal commitment and combination with self-efficacy mediate or partially mediate the effects of several. Goals along with commitment and self-efficacy influence how personally treats and incentives affect performance. Example, a salesperson who is motivated by commission sets a goal increase sales by 20%. Their commitment to this goal, combined with their belief and their ability to achieve it, significantly impact their sales performance. Number 13. Goal settings and goal-related mechanism can be trained or adapted in absence of training for the purpose of self-regulation. Goal setting skills can be learned and used for regulation even without formal training. Emotions as psychological stimuli affect how we perceive goal-related events. Example, a person trying to lose weight might set a goal to exercise for 30 minutes daily. If they feel anxious about not meeting this goal, they might adjust their approach by breaking into a smaller, more manageable segments. Number 14. Goal serves as standards of self-satisfaction with harder goals demanding higher accomplishment in order to attain self-satisfaction. Goals act as benchmarks for satisfaction. More challenging goals require greater achievement to feel satisfied. Example, an artist sets a goal to create masterpiece. They will need to put an extra effort and hone their skills to meet the high standard required for own self-satisfaction. That's all. Thank you.
So, in conclusion, realizing dreams requires more than just envisioning them. It depends action fluid by self-belief, a growth mindset, and a clear goals. Drawing from Canfield's self-acknowledgement, Bandura's self-efficacy, and Dweck's growth mindset and Locke's goal-setting theory. Success is achieved by embracing challenges, setting ambitious targets, and persistently working towards them. Transform aspiration into reality through determined effort and unwavering faith in your capabilities. Thank you all for listening. I hope you have understood our topic. A daily reminder, do not just dream it, make it happen.